Justin Thomas arrived at Harbour Town this year carrying a very different narrative than the one that defined his visit just 12 months earlier. In 2025, he stood on the same course, Harbour Town Golf Links, as a champion, ending a 1,064-day winless drought in dramatic fashion. A clutch 21-foot birdie putt in a playoff sealed the victory and reminded the golf world of his resilience and elite pedigree. Fast forward to 2026, and the contrast could hardly be sharper. Instead of leading the pack, Thomas found himself at the very bottom of the leaderboard after 2 rounds at the RBC Heritage, sitting at +9 and tied for last place in an 82-man field. Despite the disappointing start, rounds of 76 and 75, Thomas did not respond with frustration or excuses. Instead, he turned to something deeply personal, a phrase from his late grandfather, Paul Thomas. Taking to Instagram, he shared a message that blended humor with perspective, as my grandpa used to say. Some days chicken, some days feathers. Well, feathers have been had. Time for some chicken #golf. The post, simple yet meaningful, resonated with fans who understand the emotional weight behind his words. Paul Thomas was far more than just a family member in Justin's life. A PGA club professional for over 3 decades, he played a pivotal role in shaping Thomas both as a golfer and as a person. He was Justin's first coach, a constant source of guidance, and someone who never hesitated to offer honest criticism. At the same time, he was also one of his biggest supporters, celebrating victories and helping him navigate setbacks. When Paul passed away in February 2021, Thomas described it as losing a cornerstone of his life, saying, "Haven't got a good one." Since then, he has frequently spoken about feeling his grandfather's presence during defining moments in his career. That context makes his recent Instagram message more than just a light-hearted remark. It's a reflection of how he processes adversity. The numbers from Thomas's opening rounds at Harbour Town paint a grim picture. In the first round alone, he recorded bogey or worse on 8 holes. While he managed to keep the front 9 somewhat under control at +2, things unraveled on the back 9, where he dropped additional shots to finish the day at +5. The second round did little to improve his standing, leaving him at +9 through 36 holes. For a player who once dominated this course with a tournament record-tying 61, the sudden downturn is striking. What makes this performance even more surprising is Thomas's strong history at Harbour Town. Over his last 4 appearances prior to this year, he recorded a win, AT5, AT25, and AT35. It's a venue he has repeatedly described as a perfect fit for his game, a course that rewards precision, creativity, and course management, all of which are typically strengths of his. Winning here in 2025 was not just another victory, it was a meaningful addition to his resume and a reaffirmation of his ability to compete at the highest level. However, Thomas's struggles this week cannot be viewed in isolation. They are part of a broader narrative that has unfolded over the past several months. In November 2025, he underwent a microdiscectomy, a surgical procedure to address a back issue that had been affecting his performance. Returning from such a procedure is never easy, especially in a sport like golf, where the physical demands on the back are significant. His comeback at the Arnold Palmer Invitational earlier this season was a stark reminder of the challenges he faces. There, he shot 14 over across 2 rounds, finishing last and missing the cut. After that difficult outing, Thomas didn't shy away from expressing his frustration. "I just felt like I was humiliating myself out there," he admitted, a candid assessment that revealed the mental toll of his struggles. Yet, true to his competitive nature, he bounced back quickly. At the Players' Championship, he showed signs of resurgence, finishing tied for 8th with a series of solid rounds. A T41 finish at the Masters tournament followed, indicating steady, if unspectacular, progress. Thomas has built a reputation for his ability to recover from poor starts, sometimes in spectacular fashion. One of the most notable examples came at the 2025 Players' Championship, where he opened with a disappointing 78, only to rebound with a tournament record-tying 62 in the second round, a staggering 16-shot improvement in just 24 hours. That kind of volatility underscores both his resilience and his capacity for brilliance. It also serves as a reminder that, even in the midst of a rough week, he remains capable of producing something extraordinary. Unlike many PGA Tour events, the RBC Heritage does not have a cut, meaning all players compete through all 4 rounds. For Thomas, this format provides an opportunity rather than a setback. With 2 rounds still to play, he has the chance to regain form, build momentum, and perhaps salvage a respectable finish. More importantly, it allows him to continue working through the challenges he is currently facing without the added pressure of an early exit. Beyond his individual performance, Thomas's struggles also highlight a larger issue within professional golf: the demanding nature of the PGA Tour schedule. The current stretch of events is particularly intense, featuring 6 weeks packed with high-stakes tournaments, including multiple $20 million purses and major championships. For players, this period requires not only peak performance but also careful physical and mental management. Thomas has been vocal about the difficulties of this schedule. Speaking ahead of the tournament, he acknowledged that the compressed timeline is far from ideal. "It's tough. It's not how I would prefer to draw it up," he said, pointing to the challenges of preparing for major championships while simultaneously competing in consecutive high-pressure events. His comments reflect a broader sentiment among players, many of whom feel that the current structure leaves little room for recovery and preparation. The logistical demands alone are significant. Thomas had just 1 day to travel from Augusta to Hilton Head following the Masters. That transition is particularly taxing given the physical demands of Augusta National, widely regarded as one of the most challenging walks in golf. By the time players arrived at Harbour Town, many were already dealing with fatigue and minor injuries, with physiotherapy rooms reportedly filled to capacity. For Thomas, who is still managing his recovery from back surgery, these conditions present an additional layer of difficulty. The combination of physical strain, limited recovery time, and the pressure of competing at the highest level creates a perfect storm that can impact performance. His +9 start at Harbour Town can be seen, at least in part, as a reflection of these broader challenges. Despite these obstacles, Thomas remains focused on the bigger picture. He emphasized that major championships are the cornerstone of a golfer's legacy. "Majors are kind of what guys build their schedule off of," he explained. "It's also how your legacy is remembered." For a 2-time major champion, this perspective is not surprising. It also underscores the importance of managing his schedule and physical condition carefully during this demanding stretch. In many ways, this week at Harbour Town serves as a microcosm of Thomas's current career phase. He is a proven champion navigating the complexities of recovery, form, and scheduling in a highly competitive environment. His struggles are real, but so is his potential for resurgence. The same player who once lit up this course with record-tying brilliance is still there, working to rediscover his rhythm. The emotional element of his journey cannot be overlooked either. By invoking his grandfather's saying, Thomas demonstrated an ability to maintain perspective even in difficult moments. Golf, perhaps more than any other sport, requires a delicate balance of mental toughness and emotional resilience. Bad rounds are inevitable, but how a player responds to them often defines their success. Thomas's response, grounded in humor, humility, and a connection to his roots, suggests that he is approaching this challenge with the right mindset. Rather than dwelling on his position at the bottom of the leaderboard, he is choosing to focus on the process, the lessons, and the opportunities ahead. As the tournament progresses, all eyes will be on whether Thomas can turn things around. With 2 rounds remaining, the possibility of a comeback, however unlikely, cannot be entirely dismissed. More realistically, this week may serve as a stepping stone, a chance to regain confidence, fine-tune his game, and prepare for the upcoming majors. Ultimately, the story of Justin Thomas at the 2026 RBC Heritage is not just about scores and standings. It is about resilience, perspective, and the ongoing journey of an elite athlete striving to return to his best. Whether or not the chicken arrives in the final rounds, one thing is certain: Thomas's story is far from over, and his ability to navigate adversity will continue to shape the next chapter of his career.